I guess my earliest memories were when the original Ilyases were here, and like Ronnie was my age, tiny, and we watched everybody grow up, and this market was truly like a family.
I've been coming to this market regularly the last 16 years. But as a kid, I can remember coming to this market and it was full of vendors. You could buy fruit, you could buy anything here. And now I look at it and I just see sadness because the market's almost empty.
I guess it's been probably 60, 70 years ago. My grandfather had a stand here at the market, and my father worked here also. And actually, I, as a kid, carried some baskets for people and used to get maybe a nickel for carrying some baskets out to their cars.
My history at this market goes back over 50 years ago. My father used to come here and purchase meat from Weaver's Market because he ran a meat market on Newberry Street. So my connection with this market goes back over 50 years, and it pains me to see how it has been let go down.
Well, I'm 73, and I think I lived on Pershing Avenue and Market, grew up there. So it's, what, 50 years, 50-some years here, and yeah, been shopping.
A lot of the people are now deceased that were here when I was a child, but I remember coming in a stroller and being given bologna and cheese to eat while my parents ordered. And at that time, 55 plus years ago, it was largely neighborhood people.
I've been in the farmer's market, maybe 60 years. Started out with a kid on the farm. My parents had a truck farm or produce. And then I got married and came back and worked in deli work and eventually bought my own deli here. And I've been in the market like 35 years with deli and everything. And then I just had to retire. Got to be too much. So now I'm working at Miller's Produce at the market, and I still enjoy being in the market and seeing all the local people that come in all the time, and which we do need more of.
Hi, I'm shopped at the Penn Street Market since probably about 1975. I shopped here when I was a child. Going to William Penn, we would stop over after school or before school or at lunchtime when we could go out. In between there, I shopped at the Central and the Eastern markets, and I also lived in Philadelphia and shopped at the markets there.
I went here many years ago when it was thriving, and that was, I'd leave work at Donut Delight on South Queen Street, and that would have been about 1979-80. And I used to come here, it was thriving. I loved this better than Central. There was, you could see, there are so many things to select from. Fruit, meats, different, we had Sechrist Brothers, they're gone. We lost the Weavers, now we have Ilias, no competition. But I'm born and raised in York County.
I've probably been coming here for 26 or 27 years. When I married my wife, her family had come here for, I don't know how many years prior to that. This was the first farmer's market I ever actually went to. And I've been coming here ever since. Just about every Saturday, I'm here buying local fresh foods, and I really enjoy coming here.
I've been coming to this market for at least 55 plus years. I used to come with my grandma when I was like 5 years old. I have went to all the other markets in the York area, but I specifically like this market. It means a lot to me because it's part of my childhood. They've had everything I've wanted. I like this one too because it has more produce, more meats than the other markets. The other markets have a lot of glitz and a lot of flowers and all that stuff. Here it's more natural, and I like that. That is what I prefer.
I've been coming to this market, Penn Street Farmers Market, for approximately 25 years. I've seen it when it's in full heyday, when all these stands were pretty much full. I've seen the vendors come and go, and I've seen it slowly empty
to where it's at now, where it's 1/10 of what it was at one time.
Naturally, the market would be much better if all the stands were full. That would be wonderful. But to find the people that are willing to do the work that makes, creates the business here, I don't think the people are out there anymore. Yeah, as the farms are getting smaller. I think years ago there used to be about 3 or 4 butchers in here. I guess there's only one left anymore, major. So I just I don't know. I just hope we never lose it, though. I think what would help would be maybe a few more bakeries in here and maybe some meat stands.
We need this market to be equal to the market on Philadelphia Street. We need air conditioning. We need a clean bathroom, modern, up-to-date, like the one they got down in Central Market on Philadelphia Street. And when they do that, then they can encourage more merchants to come back in here and serve the people. It's the one place in this whole area where people can go and get fresh produce. I don't know whether the younger generations frequent the one on Philadelphia Street, but if you bring in proprietors that sell products that are interesting to the young generation, I don't really know what they may be, but you bring in some things that maybe have music connected to it, maybe 1 or 2 merchants that have music playing in the background, sell the kind of food that young people like to buy, at least 1 or 2 merchants that do that, fix it up, and they will come. I would like to see some of the, in addition to the one restaurant is here, some of the restaurants that close to like fast food that maybe sell ice cream, maybe sell cold, like a bar, soda fountain that sell ice cream and sell things that young people would buy. And snowballs, this is aging me, but go back to things like that that would entice people to bring their small children here to purchase things. Something that sells fast food like hamburgers or something you can just, French fries that you can just come by, purchase and don't have to sit down. Or at least one of those beer manufacturers that they have down in Central Market. Bring it up to this end of the city.
If we could get more farm and produce stands, and the bakery stands are what I come in for, so other than that, just try and get the building filled with that type of business would be an improvement from where it is now.
What would make this market better? It needs to be a destination. It needs, as my grandsons say, it needs to be poppin'. And speaking of poppin', you should actually have pop-up restaurants, pop-up artisans, breads, and actually make a section of the whole market like a small restaurant. Each week have a different person come in, people can sit down and eat, and have just different people using the produce and things from the market to make it a poppin' place.
Well, number one, I think we need to advertise this market a whole lot more than we do. Sometimes in the paper I see things about Central Market, but I don't see anything mentioned about farmers market. So I don't know if a better connection with the newspaper would work to get more of that type of stuff in. First Fridays, I don't know if they could hold some events inside here to draw people in. I've also talked to him about farm to table. They could actually have that event in here, and that would draw people in. The advertising of the parking. I mean, I'm in the market in 20 minutes. I can park, get in, find fresh produce. I mean, what the produce is here is great. And I would like some organic stations, which would be awfully nice. So, and I think right now they need a deli, would help. And if they could get a butcher in here, would also help. I really don't know the business plan of the market. If the rental price of the stands are expensive, I don't know that. I don't know if the incentive could be no rental fee for the first 2 or 3 months, just so some of these small businesses could get going. If that's an incentive or a reduction in that rate, I don't know if that would work or not. I don't know if going to the Small Business Bureau here in York, if there's like even a restaurant association that they could tap into some of those organizations to get their members to become part of the stand here in the farmers market. I don't know if having like some type of guest chef to cook some of the food in the spot and develop recipes for people, if that would help or not. I'm not sure if that's successful in the other market where they actually have a kitchen in there. I don't know about the seminars. It certainly is worth a try to educate the public on different things. And even I was just talking to the one person at the one stand about some of the trials and tribulations of being a farmer today and all the rules and the regulations that apply to a farmer. Maybe, even talking to the public about that. But I believe in supporting locals, too.
Give it a better look, because it looks drab. Doesn't look appealing. The fruits are here, the people are here, they're very friendly, but when you look, it looks dull. Needs a little color, maybe, that'll help. Looks more appealing. It's like a plate of food. When you look at it, you want it to look good. So when you come into a business, you want it to look good. So I think that'll be a good help. Different vendors would be good, because everything is fruit and vegetables or meat. There might be other options, clothing. I see there's now a flower shop there. That's nice. It's sort of like a grocery store. One-stop shop. You can kind of get everything there. Would be good. Yeah.
I love the fact that everything I want is here. The fruits, the flowers, the vegetables, the meats, and the meats are reasonable. I know young people today like a lot of entertainment. I like a market as a market. I don't know that it needs crafts and things. I'd like to see it stay an old-time market. And maybe we just need to educate the young people that everything is here and reasonable and fresh. Word of mouth obviously doesn't work because I keep trying. And maybe they do need to hold some more special things like the pig thing they had, because I wasn't here, but I understand that brought some people in. So that could be the way to get it started.
More produce, more meat markets, maybe a little diner, little restaurant in there between, bakery. The normal thing, what you would have in a market is your produce, your meat markets, flowers, whatever. That's a market. I mean, when I look at this market and I look at market downtown, I can't believe how they have gone downhill. But I think it's the fact that a lot of the markets are building their own buildings and selling out of their own buildings. They're not hauling it to market anymore. If you want an opinion, Eastern Market is a market. That's my opinion. They have everything. All your produce, different prices and things like that. Like I said, the produce, the Twin Pines and Seacrest. Seacrest was in at one time. They've been out, for 2 years now? I don't know how to draw people in town. It's hard with the Eastern Market and everything being open, and the other markets like Giant and them, I really couldn't tell you. Every Friday, every Saturday, we lived on Pershing and Philadelphia Street. My mother would have a note ready Saturday mornings up. I would come to Central Market and this market if necessary, and The only thing I think is in Central Market anymore is Miller's Meat Market. But that's a market. Meat markets, produce, whatever. That to me is market.
Yeah, I just think just bring back the meat stands and a lot of the vegetable stands, live entertainment. bakery, you know, pastry.
We're going to need somebody that has some business savvy, or somebody that's can do some promoting and get out and work with people for a little bit of money with a lot of work. But it's hard to find those kind of people. However, I really feel if people would give this market a chance, everybody says, well, they have food stamps, or they're on welfare, or they have this. The city people need, we have a lot of older city people that really enjoy the market too and still patronize it. But you want everybody to eat good food. And the people in the city need good food too. Better than going to the local mini markets and eating chips, they need to come in and get good fresh meats and produce. And they do bring the kids through a lot and show them the different things that they need to eat to have a better diet. And I think that's why you at least need one right in the city of York here. I mean, I know we have central downtown. However, this was always a true market. In other words, we have more vendors with produce, meats at one time and all that. Since we've lost them, nobody's going into butchering business anymore. It's hard to get butchers. Nobody's really farming anymore. So it takes work to get out and get people to have them come in and bring their things to the market. And that's what we need, somebody that has a little savvy in that. Well, we do have parking here, which is one thing that really does make it nice here, that you don't have to worry about meters and everything. However, I mean, if I knew the answer, I could go and do it myself, maybe. I don't know, but we don't get any recognition at this end. I mean, everything's downtown Central Market. And I mean, and they go into a whole lot of different programs in the summer with the market, but they're mainly a lot of eating stands, and where we were always more. We don't have the people here that work in the area anymore, so we don't have the eating stands here to bring people in. But this is what I'm trying to see. If anybody would have some time to donate and help with the market, we could really use the wisdom, business wisdom, to help us.
Get more food vendors, bigger deli selection, a bakery would be good, with breads, cakes, rolls, and not so much flea market stuff. It's a food market, and that's what we need. It's a nice restaurant there, so that's taken care of, but we definitely need more produce, vegetables, and bakery, and a bigger deli. A cappuccino bar would be good, with cappuccino, iced coffee, different fruit juices. That would pull people in, I'm sure. Healthy stuff. We need the healthy stuff. A nice cooking workshop would be good, to how to use all the nice fruits and vegetables and meats that are sold here. Cooking classes, that would be good.
I think we need to support local farmers. We need to support local business. The market itself, if you look around, the market house can't be improved upon because of history, but we have things that have been in disrepair. If you look around behind you, there's something that's put together with shutters and particle board that takes away from the appearance of the market. It's a vendor that's no longer here. We have poor lighting. The heat in the winter is pretty deplorable for some of the conditions to shop or to sit and eat. The cold in the summer is non-existent because you can't air condition it. That's understandable. But when you have vendors who can't show off their goods because they have poor lighting, if you have stands that have dirt, waste, trash on the floor, people are not inclined to shop under those conditions. I come in, I'm a paying customer. I still do it because I support the market and I love the local produce and the local meats and everything else. And these people have become friends to us. My husband and I, my children will come in and shop periodically as well. We're losing that second and third generation now. I had a deli here for a long time, and I know that the recent deli went out of business for refrigeration issues. But you could subdivide that area. You could offer smaller portions of that refrigerated section over there. One could be a deli. You could offer seafood. This place is lacking seafood. It would be a wonderful option for people to have. You could have just a small vendor who might handle just their own, maybe smoked meats in the winter if they had deer or, that kind of thing. Candy stands, the candy man left, but we had Wolfgangs here for years. We had 2 or 3 candy stands together at the same time, and they were always profitable. Chips and snacks would be a great idea. They have a drink stand, but you know, these places are located in what I would say not the best selling place. There's not enough to advertise. If you would have more outside events come in. We had music the one time, wonderful. They had the pig run, but they didn't clean up afterward. There's still straw and hay out in the parking lot. What kind of an impression does that leave on the city? You know, just I would say public events, you could have once a month different things. You can have educational things that pull in. Bring the kids from the schools in and have something where they can learn on the farm what kind of foods are available in apples in the fall and whatever there would be in the spring. Give them something to plant, a spring onion, and bring them in here. Those are our generations for the future who can, if they're exposed to the market, they're going to say, Mommy, Daddy, I want to go to the market. I saw some fun stuff or I had a great time. And bring that business back in, take it away from the places that are what I would say shipped in, and get it local while you can.
I don't think they promote it enough. There's just not enough, and then they're not overly friendly, I think, with some of our current people. I know some people they give different credits to, and others they don't give, I don't want to say credit, but they give them a discount on special days, and other times they don't. We have people that have been here years. The two places for the fruit and vegetables, and then you go over here with the fruits and their plants. They've been here many, many years. I remember here when her mother was here, and it's a shame because it's not clean. I just walked over here at that one stand, the one guy that he had some stuff here. People can't afford to stay here. We had one guy, he just came here, he thought he was going to try, he could not afford to stay here. But they don't have enough customers that come in. I work close to Central Market. To me, this is better hands down. They have, if you want to go for meals, you can get a lot of food there. They only have one place that sells meat, and I guess maybe 2 or 3 that do vegetables and fruit. Years ago, that was another one that was thriving for a farmer's market. This is the only true, well, this is New Eastern is a farmer's market. But this is local, and that's one thing I am so thankful. These are all local people. Eastern, they have them coming in from Lancaster County, and I don't know where else they come. Unfortunately, people in York County were very slow to accept. And we had a really wonderful guy from Adams County that he came in, and he was really, I'm a widow. He'd always give me a little bit extra. And over here at the one stand, they give a little bit extra too sometimes. And I'm not saying I think that's, it's required, but I thought that was an extra bonus. But they're really, I think, overly friendly here. They need to maybe break down some of the stands. They're too big. And then the rent wouldn't be that traumatic for some of these people.
I would like to see this market get a lot more publicity than it has. I'm amazed at the people I run into. I work for the Bar Association in York, and the people I mention that I get all my meats still at this market, and most of my produce. I'm amazed at the people that don't know about this market. And I think, much as I love the market downtown too, because I walk there at lunch at least twice a week, I don't think this one has gotten the attention that one has. And I think that's a big part of the problem. The other thing, I don't think people realize the quality of the meats here and how much less expensive it is than the things shipped into grocery stores. It definitely needs a bakery. Years ago, one of the most popular stands was both Martin's and Utz potato chips, where just like at Eastern Market, you could go and they'd fill your bag. I think if we could get a snack food place like that again, I know a lot of people miss that. I think if we had an area such as this one that's not being used, where they do promotional things for kids once a week, or once a month, I'm sorry, where you would use like pumpkins when they're in and just provide little pumpkins either for free or just for a couple dollars. That really draws parents and young families. And they do a lot of that at the market downtown. and it turns into a big family thing where people stay and have lunch. And I just think anything you can do to attract more attention to this market, even maybe every now and then having a musician play over the lunch hour or something. Anything to just draw young families especially in. And a lot of people are looking for things that don't cost a whole lot to do, and I think that's what attracts them to those events at market.
I think one of the things that kept it going for so long was a lot of the other vendors and friends and things like that really came in the mornings for breakfast at the restaurant. And then I started to see, as you know, there were issues with people changing in and out of the restaurant. It seemed to decline. I think that was a big piece that held this market together. I think some of the advertising and some of the local events that we had really brought a lot of people in. I really expected that to start drawing more folks in here. I see it's fairly busy today. There's been quite a few days where I was surprised how few people actually were here. But as far as what's actually going to bring more people in, you know, maybe a few more events, you know, let people know about breakfast here in the mornings on days that they're open, and just let them experience how good the food is, how fresh the produce that you can buy here, and the meats and things. And you know, these vendors have been here many years, so it may not be the prices are good. It may not be the cheapest thing around, but you're getting local fresh foods.
I think they can improve this market. Number one is bring the price of the stands down, that people can come in and afford to sell their produce or what they have to sell. I think bringing that revenue down a little bit to help people. This is not like the other market, which is in a better end of town. Number two is I noticed they started renovations with the painting and fixing certain things up in this market. But I think if you bring the rents down, get more people back here, make this a true farmer's market. And there are farmers out there, because we know for a fact that genetically modified food is not the best thing, that growing your own produce is a better thing. And if we can get back to the people, to get them to come back to this market, I think we'll have a better place. The lighting on the streets are better. More people are frequenting the west end of town. A lot of people have a vision that this is the ghetto market, but it's not a ghetto market. It's a market where we should be able to come and buy our produce, buy fresh food, to buy meat, to buy whatever you want to buy. And that can only happen is, number one, bring the price of the stands down to bring the vendors in. Number two, have safety here. Number three, improve the quality of the market. The parking spaces is a big issue here. So I think if you do those three things, you can bring people back to this market. Every time I watch TV, everything's at the Central Market. The Central Market this, the Central Market that. But nothing's at the West End Market. Nothing's at the Farmers Market on West Market Street and Penn Street. And I think once we get onto TV, in our newspapers, and show the variety that what can happen in this market, our younger people will come. Youth are our future. They always say that. But I think everyone is our future. Whether you're young or whether you're old, we're all consumers. Whether you have disabilities or whether you have regular ability, we're all consumers. People who use the mighty dollar to spend, they're a consumer.
You've already made the bathrooms better, so that's great. Really, just having more vendors. I'm hoping that you get more vendors in so that it will bring more people back in here. It used to be a booming place. I would love to see that again.
Some of the things that might bring some of the vendors back is what you're doing now. Actually getting some customers and some of the vendors' opinions of what could be done around here. From what I understand, some of the vendors are not getting their opinions expressed or acted upon. But more hours might help. More days might help. It's only open 3 days a week now. Maybe go to a fourth day. publicity. It does need more publicity. And the rent. You know, there was a campaign slogan around recently about the rent being too damn high. I think the rent too damn high right here. So one of the things they could do is maybe offer free rent for 90 days to vendors. Maybe after being here for 90 days, a vendor might decide that they want to stay here. But there's several things that could be done, and starting with bringing different type of vendors in here on a trial basis for free just might help. That's just my opinion. I'm not sure if the younger generation really appreciate fresh fruits from the farm as they should. I know there's a healthy campaign going around with Michelle Obama and eating. I hope that catches on, and maybe through the schools and through education that catches on with the young generation. But I think the younger generation just likes to go to Weis Market and giant food stores where it's convenient and it's open 24 hours a day, and they just don't have the time or take the time to come to a farmer's market that's open 3 days a week and open up at 6 a.m. and pretty much gone by 2:30 in the afternoon. So maybe longer hours, and again, another day or two might bring the younger generation in.
Everybody wants to give it a chance. I mean, we had a guy in here, bakery. We thought he did pretty well, but everybody comes in, they start a month or two, and they expect to make big money, and you got to work and build up your clientele. And yes, that's what we need: seafood, bakeries, all kinds of things like that. But everybody gets a business outside of the city of York, and nobody wants to take the time to come into York.
I have no idea how to get people to come in, but yeah, I mean, that's what, you know, it's just, and I guess that the farm business is going by the wayside somewhat, I guess.
I wouldn't know how to draw people in, you know, like I said, everybody's the suburbs. The parking, of course you have ample parking here, so.
They need to do it quickly. It has been like this too long, and the longer you let things go like this, the more dilapidated it becomes. I've seen merchants, I come here at least once or twice a week, even now, but I only have like 1 or 2 stands that sell things that I need. I like fresh meats from the market. I like fresh vegetables from the market. But I live way on the extreme east end of the city, but I come here.
Still have to go back, I guess, to the families that years ago tended here, that there were family butchers, family bakeries, and family farms.
Hope it stays open, and I hope they can find what they need to keep it open. I think that'll be great. It's a nice place.
I love this market. I come over practically every Friday or Saturday just to go to Ilias to get my hot dogs and hamburger. I won't buy my hot dogs and hamburger in the Giants or Wise's. No. I like that fresh meat.
I hope that things will change. I hope that we can get our taxes paid and that the business will pick back up. Thank you.
I don't want to see it close because, like I said, I like it here. I love to buy the food here. I can't complain. I've never had complaints. The bakeries, well, this couple up here that took over the restaurant. Once we lost the first restaurant there, when Mindy went away, it really went downhill. That brought a lot of people in. They don't advertise about, and I'm not saying it's their responsibility. That's not what I'm saying. But if they would advertise what we have here, and again, it's all local. These are all local people, local York County people. We need to support our people, our York farmers. You know, they're struggling just like we are, but they come in every day. Well, when we're open.
I just love the farmer's market. Even though it's only 3 days a week, I love coming in here and shopping, and I'll always come as long as it's open.
Just really hope that things do pick up, because it would be a shame for this market to go.
I just think it's like a hidden gem in the city. I really think it could really grow. Yeah. I love my market.